So guys, we're just continuing off from where we left off yesterday. On this case. Let's check it out. Now we're gonna move to the first class passageway. Ninth of January, 7:48 AM. SS Buria, first class cabin passageway. Well, finally out that cabin. I have to admit, this isn't quite what I was expecting. It's less spacious out here than I thought it would be. This is the most luxurious accommodation. Yes, indeed. Kazuma-sama was being sent on a study tour by the government. That's why he was being put up in a first class cabin. Even still, this is about twice as large as my accommodation in Surge. Really? That must be awful. Oh, look over there. That's another crewman keeping watch. And he looks enormous, even if he is sitting down. Door next to him leads to the second class accommodation. I suppose he's making sure that no one comes in here who shouldn't. I suppose. Like people in handcuffs. Or Hardison. You look like a boy isn't in a toy shop for the first time. I would have thought you'd be used to the ship by now. You've been at sea for 2 weeks already. Well, yes, I know. But the thing is, I was like Zoom's trunk when I first came aboard. And ever since then I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe. Must have been a very trying time for you. Please, don't give me that pig look. Who's that? That's a huge boot on top of the table there. And there's a pen next to it. Yes, that looks like the ship's log. Shall we have a little look through it? The writing is so neat and precise. Every detail about the voyage has been meticulously. You wouldn't expect a rough and ready sailor to have such beautiful handwriting. And nothing. No reaction at all. I thought you might appreciate the compliment. I'm not sure that rough and ready is not even to a sailor. Anyway, last night's log is mostly blank. Presumably that means there was no report. Yeah, I'll check that out. This looks like a plan of the SS Buria. It shows each deck. Look. Buria is a large-scale steamship with a triple skinned hull. What a marvel of engineering. Well, it's been playing on my mind for a while now, actually, but how is it that such a huge lump of metal doesn't just sink to the bottom of the ocean? Oh, that's really quite simple, Naruto-san. It is. Is it? Well, considering the Japanese archipelago, the islands of Japan. Yes. They're not metal, but they're enormous lumps of earth, many, many times larger than this ship. And they don't sink, do they? They've been floating happily on the sea since the gods created them. Well, I suppose so. These are the daft questions, man. Yeah, just get the mark up there. What do you think this is? It's a very pleasing shape. It's a bell. That's the emergency alarm. It's probably not touch it. Oh, an alarm. It says times of minutes. Looks as though it's been set. It sets alarms for ring the ship and brings the vessel to a complete stop. Oh, this I have to say. No, must but this is an emergency situation. Look at these handcuffs. That's not what that alarm is for. If I were to bring this vessel to a standstill for no good reason, you'd be in an even worse situation. Ha. Wish everyone would just stop. This ship included. If you have to do something foolish, at least make it something that doesn't affect anyone else. Mouse trap? Ah, traffic catching mice. Yes, we have plenty of those back home in Japan. Although they seem to be using a lump of chalk or something as bait. Let me see. Yes, I think that's what it's called. Cheese. It's made from milk of cows. Cheese? I wonder what that tastes like. You can't eat an Naruto-san. The trap will snap shut on your fingers. Really? But... I suppose you're right. You weren't actually going to try it, were you? All I've had to read for the past couple of weeks is Kazuma's leftovers. You don't know how hungry I've been in that wardrobe. Poor you. I'll find a little snack for you later. Yeah, let's see what El Jefe here has got to say. Excuse me, but can I ask you something? You little stowaway murderer. That wasn't a good start, was it? Alright, let me try instead. Good day, Mr. Sailor. I am so sorry to trouble you. But could I perhaps ask you something with you? You little third-class lady's maid. Oh, wait, you seem to have caught the sailor on a bad day, Susato-san. I am not sailor. My mother gave me name. I am senior crewman. Beef Stroganoff. Stroganoff. That's what he said. Woo. Woo. The best thing is to just avoid eye contact, I think. First class cabin area. Mr. Stroganoff. About this first class cabin area. Here we are in Venus Perturburia steamship for very important persons. What sort of very important persons? Government officials, kings and queens traveling in secret, many important persons. That is why I am always guarding this place. Gosh, that's amazing. Somehow I've let stupid soul inside. I want to pick you up and throw you in the ocean, but Stroganoff is not animal. Thank you. I like to do Russian accents. Thank you. If I may, I was wondering, is the cabin next to Mr. Soji's currently occupied? Ugh. Susato-san, do you understand that? It sounded like da. I think it's probably Russian for yes. Or no. Genius. It is not permitted cabins without invitation. Well, it sounds like there's somebody in the next door cabin at least. Yes. It's tantalizing. Let's do that one in. Are you on watch here at all times, Seaman Stroganoff? Da, all the time, so criminals like you cannot come in or get out. I wonder, could you tell us oh, fuck's sake, I try to do the voice for her as well. I wonder, could you tell us anything about last night at all? It is said about Student Boy. Were you on watch last night as well? Of course. Of course. And do you want to say anything unusual? Hurt! I don't know what that says. Sato-san, did you understand that? It was clearly a no. So not unusual. Nothing at all. And you didn't hear any strange noises? Or sense anything was wrong in some way? I said no! Sorry. I'm not so sure. I could have sworn that he wouldn't catch my eye for a moment there. Could you tell us who's travelling in the cabin next to Mr. Soji's? His name is Mr. Grimsby Royallot. He is a very important Western gentleman. A Western gentleman? Do not think about it. He has nothing to do with murder of Student Boy. How can you be so sure about that? Mr. Royallot is authentic Western gentleman. Such a man would have no interest in lowly student from insignificant Far East islands. That was harsh. Could you tell us when Mr. Royallot came aboard? That is not your business. Come to think of it, even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now, and I've been in Kazuma's cabin the entire time, I've never once heard anything from the next door cabin, or even felt like there's anyone there. Well, presumably this gentleman's occupying one of the first class cabins. He must be important, is that right? But that is not your business. This is enough. I cannot say more now. Oh. It is time for me to report the captain. You must return to cabin. Alright. Bulkhead to second class areas stay unlocked at all all times. You escape when the lobster whistles on top of the mountain, or, as English say, when the peaks fly. Yes, I understand. Good. Now we can investigate this area properly, shall we? Definitely. Let's see what the door says. Why does it say I haven't clicked that? Alright. That's the way to the second class area of the ship. Is something wrong? I was thinking about making a run for it, just for a moment. Things aren't exactly going well for me. I might be wrong, but I imagine the moment you reach for the handle of the door, that burly seaman would surely shoot you dead. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Perhaps I went a little too far there. I started with my talk of running away. And there's no way I could run away while Kazuma's death remains a mystery anyway. Let's try that again. Really is huge, there's plenty of benefit too. Yes, I'm sure that's the ship's log. Yeah. Right, so neat and precise. Every detail about the voyage has been meticulously recorded. You wouldn't expect a rough and ready sailor to have such a beautiful handwriting. Anyway, look here. Last night's log is mostly blank. Presumably that means that there was nothing to report. So, yeah, finally. I thought I read that before, obviously I didn't. Check that already. Let's try these doors. First class cabin number 1. Yes. Cabin. It's Kazuma-sama's. Sorry. Your accommodation is confined to the ward inside the cabin. You know how to make a stowaway feel small, don't you? As small as the wardroom I've been calling home. These cabins are the finest on the ship. My own cabin is in steerage is number 539, by the way. 500 and... How many cabins are there? This is it. This is the cabin next to ours. The one the ventilator connects to. Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw speckled band energy. Maybe whoever's in this cabin can help solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. No answer. We're out of luck, it seems. There's no one in there to help with our inquiries. How annoying. Ah! What was that? Came from inside the cabin. Such a high-pitched screaming. It must have been a woman. Stand aside. Oh, he's back again. I'm about to break the door down. Mr. Sholmes? I shan't be stopped when the fit is on me. I revel in kicking doors off their hinges. Please, wait, Mr. Sholmes. The door doesn't appear to be bolted. It doesn't? Then how the deuce can I dispatch this muscular urge? What prey can I kick? He's doing that fucking Siri Griffin shit. I think we should go in. There's no time to think about stress relief. Is there a window? 9th of January. S at Buraya. First class. Cabin number 2. You! Who are you? Who are you? Western gentleman. This man looks Russian to me. We have heard a woman scream. A woman? Don't be absurd. As you can see, there's nobody but me in this cabin. He's that guy from the photograph before. But me in this cabin. True, this old man does appear to be the only person in here. But in that case, who just screamed? Get out, all of you, now. Please excuse the intrusion, but you all must be Grimsby Roylott, I believe. Yes, that's me. And you are... I'm the one and only, the actual Sherlock Holmes. You have heard of me, no doubt? No. I'm a great detective among great detectives. One who adorns the covers of popular magazines, no less. So I assure you, you may trust me completely. That man uses that magazine like a business card. A detective. I do not trust the take. You distinctly heard a scream emanating from that within these walls. There wouldn't appear to be a lady concealing herself within the wardrobe this time. So Tybee old Bose has to open that small travelling case. What? Don't be stupid. How can anyone fit in a small trunk like that? Well, it's quite fashionable these days, is it not? Travelling inside one's trunk. Don't look at me. Oh my, did you see that, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, the case just shook. Leave. No. Otherwise, like Goldie's to it. He's gonna cut his beard off, isn't he? So this is Kazuma's neighbour, Mr. Grimsby Roylott. There's no doubt about There's no doubt about it. This strange Russian man is hiding something. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Let's see if we can find clues before that burly sailor returns. I'm just gonna look at a picture of the man. Yeah, it's definitely him. What do you think you're doing? Ah. This is my cabin. Get out. Could we just have a quick look inside your travelling case, perhaps? No. Ha. What a pity. I think we're out of luck. I think you're right. There doesn't appear to be anything more we can do. I agree, but there may be someone else who can help. Perhaps that great detective could get somewhere with Mr. Roylott. I reckon if I try to touch anything else, I'm just gonna get fucking berated, so... Do you have a moment, please, Mr. Sholmes? You need only address me as Sholmes. That's what I just did, isn't it? Well, Mr. Sholmes, what were you doing in here? Why, I was resting, of course. Resting? Indeed. I was contemplating our sea voyage from the confines of the wardrobe whilst waiting. Waiting for the inevitable time that you would need to call my great powers of deduction into service. Oh, and it would seem that the hour is upon us now. The time has come. Am I mistaken? Well, no, actually, you're spot on, but... Observe closely. Our Russian host in this cabin, Mr. Roylott, is clearly trying to hide something. And do you know what is the most effective weapon to use against a Russian hiding a secret? Why, the truth, of course. Though it should be pointed out that such methods are not exclusive for the Russians. Right. Can you imagine how the Russian will react when the secret he guards closely is exposed? Would you like to witness it? Oh yes, please. Well then, what you're about to say may as well astound you. May as well astound you. For I'm about to reply my great detectives greatly admire it. Great deduction to the case. Could this man be a more hackneyed betrayal of a dubious Russian, I ask you? What? From time to time, it occurs to me. Is the fellow dubious on account of his Russianness, or Russian on account of his dubiousness? I really don't think either of those things should be occurring to you, or anyone. That's right. Mr. Sholmes, I know this man's beard and dark glasses are hard to ignore, especially on first meeting, but I once read, it's a capital mistake to theorize before you have all the evidence. It biases the judgment. Shh. I must have complete silence. What are you doing? Why are you painting my face like that? Ah, just as I thought. Yes, I have quite made up my mind now. There can be no suspicion that contradicts all the facts. Mr. Roylott, I have reached two incontrovertible conclusions. What do you mean? Number one. Your true identity is that of a villain. Using those shears, you are about to end the existence of something austere. Are you not? Ugh. And number two, the other conclusion I have drawn, you are, at this very moment no less, in the midst of committing a grim, most grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers with nervous tension as you realise you have been discovered. Does it not? Ah! Oh, Naruhara, son, I never imagined I would witness one of Mr. Sholm's great deductions with my own eyes. That was a great deduction. Nothing could deceive Mr. Sholmes. In a single glance, he could deduce all there is to know about the person. What? Ineffable twaddle. Oh yes, I've read about it countless times in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, and now I've experienced the astonishing impact of his great deduction firsthand. This is like a dream come true. I can hardly believe it, but all the colour has drained from Mr. Roylett's face. It's like somehow both Mr. Sholmes' conclusions were right. How? How could you? How could I possibly know such things? Were you wish to say? Very well then. I shall elucidate. I shall explain how it was that I arrived at this pair of conclusions. So I cordially invite you upon a journey of logical discovery. So that's about the train of reasoning. But plainly, let us work through my deductions together. The great deduction. The game is afoot. Topic 1. Old man's identity. Not yet. So, the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Roylett, obviously what catches the eye in the first place is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You were on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard you sport. Now moving on. The question then begged is this: why would you desire to rid yourself of this magnificent beard, Mr. Roylett? Once again, the answer is plain. You have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. Regard if you will this morning's newspaper, in particular the fascinating front page article, which it would appear you have read also, Mr. Roylett. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence reveals that your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. In translation, the headline reads, Revolutionary Villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. As you cannot fail to observe, the subject of this article possesses an extremely copious beard. Having noted the article yourself, you decide to remove your incriminating facial hair before it give you away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. You are the face of Russian Revolution himself, Villain Bolshevik. Not that I've heard of you myself, you understand? Wrongdoing. Now, as for my second conclusion, you are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime? Over there. Oh yes, Mr. Roylett. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. And I assure you, the eye speaks so much more eloquently, and honestly, than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that travelling kit. It is time, I think, that the case be opened and its contents laid bare. No, I refuse. What could you possibly conceal inside, we ask? For my estimation? A young lady, perhaps, small slight enough to fit there, therein. Don't be absurd. And what, pray, would be the identity of this young lady in the travelling kit? Dear me. We are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? You careless Coudwell betrays you. Coudwell, sorry. Once again, we need to follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes. The reason you refuse to open your travelling case can easily be found in the pages of this newspaper. Well, there is another, more stimulating article. If we turn from the fleeing revolutionary to the back page, renowned prima ballerina of Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Such a headline can lead us to one conclusion. Your crime is that abduction. And according to the article, the young lady's name is Nikolina Pavlova. Kidnapping of a young ballerina. This concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this Russian enigma, Elemensky. Sato-san, that wasn't one of the great deductions I've been hearing so much about, was it? Well, the stories are full of Mr. Holmes' brilliant deductions, you know. But that did seem a little different somehow. Excuse me, Mr. Holmes. Could you come over here a moment? Pray, what can I do for you? About your deductions, would you mind? Not at all, go on. Well, to start with, there's a newspaper article. I think we've had the same discussion before. But these two men look nothing like each other. Ah yes, I recall our discussion earlier. And at the moment, I believe I told you that the man is a revolutionary, well able to revolutionize his own appearance. In fairness to Mr. Holmes, Mr. Roylott does look more like this man than you do. That's not the point. And another thing. The part about him abducting the ballerina, indeed were a truly startling revelation. At first glance, the case would appear too small to accommodate a young woman. Not just at first glance, too small clip. You'd be lucky to fit a 5-year-old child in that case, even if you push really hard. I don't suppose the missing ballerina is a 5-year-old child, is she? You mean you don't know? No, the young lady's 15. No, I didn't know, how could I? Well, if she's 15, 10 years worth of her would be poking out from the case. Some years ago I read something pertinent about a troop of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote asserting lifeness in their bodies. For such a sour bunch, it would surely be simplicity itself to contort oneself into the confines of that small cave. Oh dear, you might think of contortion in this Mr. Holmes, sorry. This is an interesting service. Mr. Reporter, something occurred to me about Mr. Holmes' deductions just now. I think his powers of observation are, well, magical. His eyes cut the heart of the matter almost instantly. Just where he directs his attention, his logic does seem a little off. The idea of a little, maybe a little off itself, Mr. Sato. Just two words as deduction down. So, if we might then fall. Switch some keywords in deduction. Yes, but very tactfully. We can unlock the true genius of Mr. Holmes' great deduction. Actually, the thought is going to mind. This man has a lot of work. At times, I wonder how anyone puts up with me. It's not that funny. Ah, and you, my good fellow. Sorry. Take a moment to look at your wrists. The wrists, again, he aids me to show. What? Where are your handcuffs? How did... I may hinder your ability to follow me in our dance of deduction. Mr. Holmes, you are a marvel. Don't worry. I shall restore the shackles to your wrists when we are finished. I'm worried, in fact, I'd rather stay like this. So, let us begin. Mr. Sherlock Holmes is proud to present his luck, and and reasoning spectacular. Sorry, straight up. Of course. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. So, the dubious looking Mr. Violet, obviously what catches the eye in the first place is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. The one on the verge of using the shears cut away the guppy's previous one, yes. I'm not sure, would you really use shears like to cut it? I doubt that's something I'll ever have to worry about. It doesn't quite sit right with me, though. It doesn't seem to be sitting right with Mr. Violet either. Which means I suppose that the deduction is wrong. Let's try to switch a keyword here, Norohodastan, and see if the help matters. Alright then, but how? I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Violet. Or if it's really his beard that he intended to use those shears on. Exactly. If we do manage to find something that seems to fit the sense of Mr. Sholmes' deduction better, then what? Then I'll leave the rest in your capable hands, Norohodastan. My mind will want to do something about this. Anyway, let's see if there's anything we could even use to switch around in that last sentence. What exactly was Mr. Violet really going to use those shears for? It's not his beard. It's in the room. Sorry. Did he cut his hair with it? Yeah. Golden locks? Yeah. What the? What's this? It looks like a cascade of sprinkle. Lots? No, the colour's not the point. The point is, what's it doing at the back of Mr. Violet's head? How is it growing out from underneath his thick black hair? Well, yes, that's true. So it's suddenly beautiful and suddenly surprising. Something's definitely not right here.
Yes!
You were on the verge of using the shears to put away the golden locks you sport. Indeed, you have identified the precise details intended to expose. Such lush golden hair certainly does not fit an old man. Ugh. You're not a man at all, are you? You're a woman. And judging from the length and sheen of your hair, one's still very much in her youth. Oh no. If only I had managed to cut off my hair, no one would have suspected. Ballerina, isn't she? The question then begged is this. Why would you desire to rid yourself of these magnificent locks? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. Well, that was a shock. I know the woman in disguise, did you? What? Why are you staring at me like that? Yes, it was a surprise. Norohodastan, you're enjoying this, aren't you? Sorry? You look like you're in your element as you dance around the room. Did you see the facts from Mr. Sholmes? I'm just doing what we agreed. I'm not having fun or anything. This is strictly business. Not strictly... Yes, I understand. Say no more. Well, anyway, let's focus on this next part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction, shall we? The evidence that he's picked out doesn't fit the facts at all now. Not that... No, that's true, given that Mr. Violet is actually a woman. Exactly. He, or rather, she, can't possibly be dismissed as revolutionary. I suppose because the deduction as a whole has taken a different direction now. Yes. Let's switch the evidence for something else. Something that fits the facts as we now understand them. For some reason, this woman needed to try to hide her true identity. I feel as though I've either read or heard about a young woman in a situation like this recently. Alright, I'll do my best. This is interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruhodo-san? Well, no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. I can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I, but look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess. Do you think? She's very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, don't you? I don't know, I can't make any sense of it. Ah, I'm glad you've noticed this article. Ah. Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. He pops over well. This Mr. Sean. It's about the disappearance of a young lady, renowned prime ballerina of the Novovich Ballet, disappears from Shanghai. During performance was reported missing. Famous answer reported missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. That's what they are. Why Russian names of hard yes. It would appear that woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from a dressing room, wearing the diamond tiara used to picture, which is worth some. How much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must be an unbelievable sum of money. Sato-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is the property of the Novovich Ballet. It would seem that the director is besides herself with fury. Yes, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They request international assistance at all ports for sailings to Great Britain. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? It does seem to be the Russian thing to do. I'm not even going to dignify this with a response, Mr. Naruhodo. Yeah. Article about it has been entered in the courtroom record.
Yes!
The evidence that reveals your true identity is, of course, the article about Ballerina. That's right. You've hit the nail on the head. That's right, you've hit the nail on the head. The renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet, disappears from Shanghai. It would appear we are finally able to address you by your true name. Yes, because your true identity is that of Novovich Ballet's prima ballerina. Miss Nikolina Pavlova. Ah! Takes this guy's off, yes. You're right. You're right. My real name is Nina. Nikolina. Please, I beg you, tell anyone. Stop. Now, as far as my second conclusion. You are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing a most grievous crime, not kidnapping. And the proof of this crime, over there. Yeah, he's unawares, people have a problem to let their eyes stray, you see. I show you the eyes so much more. Honestly, turn them up. You seek lies within that of blind spells. Your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. This woman is the ballerina. She's right. Clearly she can't be inside that traveling case as well. It seems woman is a predicament. I can see what look, please, Naruto. Do you like the idea of another chance to dance around with Mr. Schultz? Stop it. Anyway, there must be something to what this woman is up to. Hey, again.
Yes!
The proof of your crime is surely this tiara. Ah. I believe this tiara is worn on stage by dancers in the Novovich Ballet, is it not? Indeed. It would appear to be identical to tiara pictures here in this newspaper article. And if the reporting is to be revealed, It's an item worth 20,000 rubles. In summary, the crime you committed is theft. But no. Yes, you left your ballet troupe, unlawfully taking their precious tiara with you. I have no one, no family, no friends. I'm all alone, and I need money. But I did not steal the tiara. It's a present from, how do you say, an Earl of Prussia. It belongs to me. This girl is only 15 years old, and she's run away all by herself. Just been extremely lonely. Alright, I will tell you everything. There's no point to hiding it now. Come, let's not be hasty. Let's not be hasty. What? There remains one unsolved mystery. Mystery? What do you mean? You have simply refused to open this travelling case of yours in our presence. It is reasonable to conclude, therefore, that there exists some reason why you wish it to remain closed. Miss Pavlova. My dear girl, there is no sense in playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. Indeed, I have a very good idea of the contents of your case, even before I have it. Dear me. Not well for life crime, are we? You careless dude that betrays you. Once again, we apologize. Yeah. Yes, the reason why you refused to open your case is written in the books on the shelf. It's time to change tack with his deduction now. I think that Mr. Shum's adapting his logic to the changing circumstances, don't you? Maybe why has he suddenly brought the bookshelf into all of this? It's just a wild guess, surely. Oh, do you think so? But does it feel like the reason why this young woman doesn't want to open her case? What have you written in a book that doesn't even belong to her? Yes, that's true. But still, Miss Pavlova certainly did cast her eyes in that direction. I noticed it myself. Then there has to be another reason why she won't open her case. It must be somewhere in the same area, if that's where her gaze was involuntarily drawn. I agree, that's the only reason, that's the only answer. What if she is inside that case? It should be revealed by following her gaze in the direction of the bookcase. Except these are all the same books that we found in our cabin. I suppose choose the legs make sure passengers have plenty to read for the long voyage. And have you noticed all the books have fallen over, just like Simmer's cabin? Also, someone's taken a stupid them. Maybe it's Miss Pavlova while she was practicing her ballet. Anyway, the point is we don't have time to look through all these books at them. We couldn't even if we wanted to. They're all in Russian. That's a relief. Let's try to look elsewhere. Is it something to do with the mirror? This is a charming little picture, isn't it? What is it? Someone climbing a steep mountainside? Or descending one, as it seems to me. Maybe in the flat sea for a while, maybe you start seeing hills and mountains and everything. There is a passage for travel aboard this estuary. Passengers must not keep weapons, same thing at all. Same notes in our cabin too. I wonder what happens if you break the rules. Oh dear, I'm sure the punishment will be some understand. Probably left it a drill in the freezing cold ocean. Or shut inside a tiny wardrobe for days on end. So I've actually been serving time for weeks now, have I? It's a metal bottle, same as in Kazuma's cabin. Yes, and the rather slim bolt is the same as well. Well, if Miss Pavlova was actually glancing over the door here instead of the bookcase, that would suggest a desire to run away from this cabin. Maybe. I reckon something that's that true thing there. It's definitely not that. I bet it's something to do with the door, actually.
Yes!
The metal door to this cabin has a metal latch. The latch rhymes with catch. Are you catching on yet? You see, just the door has a metal latch. The traveling case has a metal catch. What precisely was your intention with that, Mr. It's all natural progression to deduction. Sometimes the truth hurts. I'm going to fail this, aren't I? Because you do not have a turn for deduction or deduction. Did that hurt? Half a vote? Yes, that hurt. Sure, the reason that Miss Blue doesn't want to open the cabin case is because there's something inside that she doesn't want us to see. Didn't we? What's the thing I've got inside the case? It's gonna be some sort of creature, isn't it? I'm gonna fucking yeah. Read the passage. That's what it's gonna be. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the rules of passage. Passengers or other dangerous objects in the cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. It's a pet, isn't it? In that case, of course, is something forbidden from carriage on this vessel. That is the real reason why I refuse to open it. Hence, as you see in the trunk wobbles from time to time, but no weapon, no dangerous item of its own accord. Which leaves behind what else can this travel over? If the last item forbidden is forbidden in the vessel's rules of passage, a pet. Ah. For fuck's sake, I misread it before. Possession of a prohibited animal. Elementary. Deduction complete. So clearly you will... Aren't who you said you were? No. I am not Grimsby, Royalist. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct. Your performed this in order to escape your command. Later that same night, you stole aboard this vessel, which couldn't have been easy. The Bury is a huge steamship with a vast crew. Could she really have snuck on board without being noticed? In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the disguise of an old gentleman, and you attempt to sever all length of your past by severing your long hair. Yet to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well alone. So if it was just you about to cut off your own hair, who was it that loud scream we heard from outside the cabin? The verbal tinkling of a bell. Why, none of the land, this young lady naturally. More like a false. Trust me. I was so scared when I ran away in Shanghai. I was so sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how do you say, disguise myself so no one would recognize me. As a result, you threw out long else for that question. Nice. I was on the fur hat and fake beard. Then, just before you came in here, I saw in the newspaper, right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened, I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearance completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut away all my hair as fast as possible. I picked up the scissors in my hand, and at the precise moment we walked in through the annoyingly unlocked cabin door. Things happen like that sometimes, don't they? Things do indeed happen like that, from time to time. I was even talking about the same. There's just one more thing I'd like to know. What exactly do you have inside your travel case? You were right. It is my dear friend inside. My friend in the whole world. Please. Please don't tell anyone. If the captain finds out. If you say it to any of the crew. You're safe with us, I assure you. When we return, you must tell us, in as much detail as you can muster, about the events of last night. Yes, alright, I will tell you. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, wasn't it something Mr. Sholm's great deduction? Wasn't it something Mr. Sholm's great deduction? Didn't mean to do that. Save quickly. Wasn't it something Mr. Sholm's great deduction? It was certainly something, yes. I'm just not entirely sure what. Mr. Pavlova has great levels. It's incredible. Indeed, it is incredible. Oh, and one more thing. Oh, and yes, what? Observe your wrists. Let's put the things back on. Yeah. Ah. A copy. What? But how? True to my word, I have restored your shackles. When and why? There's still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sorry to say, it still can't be helped at the moment. It can't be helped at the moment. Ha. Can't it? Really? Anyway, let's listen to it. I have to find out what the spectral band did, because we must find out what this diary really was. Examine the bed thing just because it asks you to. Let me see. Go and touch. Huh? I will tell you what I know about last night. Please. You must not touch my things. Hi. How'd you say? Forbidden. Oh, sorry. As well you should be, old man. But what vulgar manners you have. Look around a young lady's private belongings. Never shall I allow it. Converse. What happened last night? Did you know that someone was killed in the cabin next door to this one last night? One of the crewmen told me this morning when I ate breakfast. The man who died, he was a friend of mine. Man was a friend of mine, fuck's sake. Oh. I better try and find out what happened. Did you notice anything unusual last night? Perhaps you heard a strange noise, for example. Perhaps people talking. Perhaps the ship was absorbed in a wild tempest. Perhaps its steam engines exploded. Perhaps everyone on board would have noticed if that happened. Is there anything you could tell us? I don't know. I'm sorry. I could talk about last night was what I had done, or whatever they would find me. I didn't notice anything that was happening around me. Oh, I see. You've run away from your ballet company, haven't you? The Novovich Ballet. Yes. I'm travelling to Great Britain, and from there, I want to go to America. I will never do it again. I want to forget everything about the ballet. I will start a new life. Wish to forget? A challenging proposition. When you have that striking tiara as a reminder. The tiara is mine. I need it to live. I have no money of my own. Novovich Ballet gives us all. And when we must dance all over the world. I had to run away. I had no choice. If I stayed there, it would have killed me. So you way to protect yourself. Yes. And the crew of the ship, they have all been kind to me. They let me come on board, and they said I could hide in the cabin. If that is indeed the truth, Miss Pavlova, it creates the most intriguing conundrum. Yes, it does. What do you think about it, Mr. Naruhodo? Me? Oh, well, yes, of course. I think we should hear Miss Pavlova's explanation to what conundrum I'm not sure. But Pavlova, I'm not suppose you were. According to this newspaper, it was only yesterday that you absconded from the ballet. But now, that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel. However, the SS Buria stopped by no port last night. Ah, that's it, of course. So how is it, pray, that you come to be on board? Now that I think about it, the crewman outside the cabin acted very strangely when we mentioned that. It was just after we asked him about when the occupant of his cabin came on board. That is not your business. Yes, you're right. He did see me hide something. An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to the stage. Sorry, what was that? It's how the Russian newspapers described one of my performances. And that is how I came here too. I descended from the heavens, because I am an angel. A certain English isn't your mother tongue. Your description is very vivid. As Jones once said, never was a touch of the dramatic. It seems Pavlova is the same. A genius descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to detection. Was once said about myself. I quote from wonderful extravagant advertisement. For the Avengers of Sherlock Holmes, in fact. Yes, Mr. Shelley. Anyway, it doesn't look like Miss Pavlova's going to tell us what really happened. Friend. So the friend you mentioned is inside your traveling case, is that right? I don't think animals are allowed on board, according to the rules of passage. Oh please, don't tell any of the crew. If they find my precious, then the burly Russians will bestir themselves in unison to throw you and your case overboard with it. So reassuring, Mr. Jones. What sort of pet is your friend? A little puppy? It is. Maybe an adorable little rabbit. Credit Russian as having as land with small rabbits, do you? Or don't they have small rabbits there? You may well ask. I have no idea. You two are miserable bungalows when it comes to understand the nature of young ballerina's friends. Isn't it obvious? Consider the benefits. Arousing people coal, daily fresh eggs, and when adversity strikes, you can satisfy the needs of sustenance. So you'd eat your friends. I'll do it. Well, it would appear that friends' identities are closely guarded secrets, not to be revealed. Ha ha ha. Chelsea doesn't quite trust us yet. It's something I should like to show her, I think. Maybe she might be able to shed some light. This is the diary of my friend who passed away. His diary? Yes, and he wrote it in last night before he died. Something little when he wrote it. 1:23 AM. I can hear a faint whistling sound. And a few minutes later, 1:35 AM. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the little grill. Speckled band? Don't understand. Strange, isn't it? But the ventilator he mentions joins the cabin, you see. It's up there on the wall. In other words, the cabin and the victim's cabin are connected together. Oh. Miss Pavlova, and something occurred. Does the speckled band the victim mentioned mean something to you? Or the whistling sound, perhaps? I don't know anything. Oh. Snake, isn't it? Knock, knock.